tamunya spesial banget lo nggak tahu ya Arnold ya, berarti lo hidupnya emang baru generasi yang baru ya. Buat teman-teman yang lama yang sudah kayak mungkin sudah beredar gitu ya di tahun 2006, 2007, 2010 itu pasti tahu sih. Toko bagus dan sekarang udah dibeli sama OLX ya, jadi OLX Indonesia gitu ya. Nah, kita ngobrol sama Arnold Ek nih. Ini a pleasure banget karena ya kapan lagi dapat kesempatan ngobrol sama founder yang legendaris banget gitu. Jadi kali ini kita akan belajar gimana caranya nge-build produk yang yang successful dan kesalahan-kesalahan yang sering terjadi nih, gitu ya. Karena ternyata Arnold sekarang juga masih nge-build, bantuin banyak startup untuk nge-build produk, gitu ya. Jadi akan sangat menarik. Dan ternyata lokal itu gue baru tahu. But anyway, sesi kali ini akan di present dalam bahasa Inggris karena ya memang supaya lebih enak ngobrolnya gitu ya sama Arnold. So kalau lo nonton ini di YouTube, nyalain subtitlenya. Thank you. Oke. Gak pakai panjang lagi, langsung aja. Arnold, you
Halo,
do know Indonesian, right?
kita bisa ngomong bahasa Indonesia juga kok, nggak apa.
So, which one are you more comfortable with?
Both are fine.
Let's
Let's mix ya, seperti orang gaul.
sure. Okay, let's mix.
Ya, sudah
Oke.
muda ya. Yang tadi itu aku merasa ya kita semua udah tua sih. Yang muda-muda nggak ingat aku.
Iya. Mereka pasti nggak tahu. They will not know about Toko Bagus. Now, again, thank you ya for coming and spend your time, your valuable time in weekends, right? So I hope this session would be very useful for the listeners out there. One thing that I'm curious on since start, like, why did you come to Indonesia to build Toko Bagus in the first place? Can you tell me a bit about that?
Nah, I didn't come to Indonesia to build Toko Bagus. Then I would be so visionary. That would be amazing. You know, coming here as a young guy, going on a plane, saying, "Okay, now I'm going to build something for a market where I've never been." No, the thing is, I studied in the Netherlands and in US. Was doing higher informatics and international business. So I wanted to definitely do something in the digital space. But then coming from a country where there are like 17 or at that time 60 million people, it's like building something only for Jakarta. That's not scalable enough to be any business. So I went, as most bules do, I went to Bali on the 1st of January 2000 and stayed there for quite some time. That's where I started my first team, Tapi. I was too early for digital because it was still too expensive in Indonesia at the time, so nobody was using it. So I was too early. But I started during that time to set up my team with engineers already in Bali. But then we were focusing on the European market at that time.
Oh.
And Toko Bagus is a very fun story, to be honest, because there was no plan of building Toko Bagus, but we made an auction website for a Dutch client, and they went bankrupt in 3 months.
Okay.
So the client was blaming me. That's because of the website. I said, okay, I don't think so. I think you did the wrong thing. You got a fancy office, you got a fancy car, and you didn't spend any money on marketing. I think you should blame yourself. But okay, let me prove you wrong. Let me launch something similar in Indonesia, and then if it works out, you're wrong.
So it's a revenge story?
Yes, a little bit. And that's the first time somebody subtitles it as a revenge story, but yes, you can also call it luck or random, whatever. But this is, revenge sounds more cool. Yeah, you can almost make a Netflix thing. Yeah.
So what year was that?
That was 2005.
Oh.
And then it was not easy because at that time still a lot of people didn't use internet. So what we did is bought a lot of newspapers and go to all the classifieds and call people to ask them if we could put their listing on our website.
Yes.
And they all said no. So that was painful. But we had enough growth. So in 2008 we got invested. And that's where the real growth started, isn't it? Then we had the money to burn. Not really burn, but at least to grow. Yeah, so there was, and then let me think, what was it? I think in 2010 we moved from Bali to Jakarta, because then I found out that all the deals are made in Jakarta. So if I don't want to be on the plane every day, I should better move there. We moved the whole team. Very blessed that everybody wanted to move with us, so we didn't lose any employee. Everybody went with us to Jakarta, and yeah, the rest you probably know the story.
Okay, so I know because in 2005 I actually launched an online store in Surabaya myself. Like first month nobody buys, but second month one person buy, one person actually buy.
That's the thing. So I don't know because you're older as well, yeah. So if the older listeners, they know what I'm talking about. I had now I don't even an iPad again they call it. They're from Complex, the little small little I don't know what it's tablet from Compact during those days. And as a test, I put it onto Talk About Goose at that time. And the same day somebody called me, and then it's okay. This is going to work out.
Yeah.
I sold something I didn't want to sell, but okay, it's okay. Put online, so let me sell it now. But that was a good indicator that we were onto something.
So so how did you okay the initial story was you want to revenge and prove something, right? But then you mentioned initially you offered people to put an ad, but nobody wants to do it, and that's just common founder story, right? But then how did you turn it around? I mean, is it just like you just keep doing that, or did you do
I
different
think that's
things?
so. I think now let's go back to your title: things to avoid in building successful products. Things to avoid: give up.
Okay.
It's really endurance. Yeah, it's just keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. Every negative thing you learn something, and that's how you get there. And yes, with Obus it was just endurance. We just had to wait until the market gets is better. That's it. The market was not ready yet, and it was nothing personal. I guess hopefully.
So you just didn't give up and keep doing that,
Yeah, and
but
really,
then
so what people don't know, some people know because I told the story a few times already. But I got my investor when I only had one employee left.
one employee left means you already had some and then you downsize.
Yes, until there was nothing left. One. So then I was very lucky that my investor couldn't speak Bahasa. So
Why?
I went across the road where there was an internet cafe, and I asked all those guys, "Ayo guys, internet gratis hari ini di kantorku." Tapi kalau ada bule yang ngomong sama kamu ngomong kamu nggak bisa bahasa Inggris. So my office was full of people, and everyone looked very busy. So that's how I invited my investors to come, because I was very blessed because we were almost out of funds, and then at the same time two competing investors came to me that they want to invest. That's even better,
Yeah.
two people are born to hate each other. That's so yeah, it was fun.
Okay, this is the first time that yeah, this kind of story is always fun to share, right? But I didn't actually realize that it's that dangerous in the situation yet. Only one
Oh
employee left.
yeah, I always say if you almost die, that means you become successful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That moment always comes at the hardest moment.
Yeah, because it's building something is never easy, and that's why if you want to be in this business, you better be crazy. It's a lot of work and no sure returns in that sense. But at least if you enjoy the ride, it's also worth it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And you make
that's
friends along the way,
yeah,
learn a
yeah.
lot.
That's the main thing. So if you can't enjoy it, then why bother?
Yeah,
The main thing
agree.
is to enjoy that. So um, you mentioned earlier you have you serve clients abroad, right, in Europe. But then are you an agency business model like a service company that building stuff for other? But then you build
Yeah.
Toko Bagus.
So in the
You switch.
beginning, again, it's of course different company than the company we have now. But in the beginning, of course, you do projects, isn't it? That's how it started. Projects. Now I don't do projects anymore. Now it's we go into a relationship in that sense. Yeah, we partner up building
Mhm.
something. Yeah, you pay me for my efforts, but still we partner in that one. So we work together to make it a success. So we both incentivize to make it a success, and we both bear the risks. Yeah, in that sense. So that's how we do it now. But in the early days, it was really project based because nobody understood agile at that time, and nobody understands the fact that that product is never finished. So if you if you try to sell a finished product, yeah, congratulations, you have a client for life because you will never be finished.
Yeah.
I have one venture at the moment running like that, and that's not. I don't receive any payment for that, but that's from myself as a reminder to not go into that kind of business anymore. So we still support and we still try to do the best, and there's no people we take out of the team, etc. We still put the best people there, but it's really a reminder for myself to say, okay, Arno, stupid guy, a product is never finished. Because as soon as you start using a product, you have iteration, 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 iteration. It's infinity and beyond, isn't it? It's only finished when you go bankrupt. So, yeah,
But you have that at the moment.
yeah. That's for myself a reminder that again, it's only one out of and that has been going on now for I think 4 years or 3 years, and it's okay. It's okay. That's totally fine. I'm totally happy to do that, and yeah, again, it was because I went out of, I was helping conglomerates to build all these other products. And then you start on your own again, and then you make stupid mistakes. Not mistake, but again, you have to refine how you work in the new time, isn't it? So I continued where I left off when I was still in Bali, forgetting that the world already moved and changed quite a bit. I jumped in the same business model, which was not smart.
Okay. Okay. But even now, Arnold, I mean, the company I'm working for is also basically mainly is a service company where I'm doing fractional head of product. But from time to time, they have clients that is building product, but the engagement is still a project, right? It's hard to sell agile setup with these clients. So yeah, but at least they are familiar with agile.
Yeah. So I don't envy you.
I'm not envying myself, but
No, because
um,
if you sell agile as a project, you will never have a happy client.
yep, yep. So
Is that right or not?
yeah, it is. It is. It is right
Yeah.
because yeah.
It's not how you make the conversation nice, but okay. Yeah.
So yeah, but without project basis, because it's hard to trust a company that's just coming to you. You don't know the reputation and so on, right? So it's easier to pay for performance, pay for results instead of pay for performance. But the problem is, even the client themselves don't know what they want, right? After it's finished, they okay, it looks bad. Let's change things,
Yeah.
and
That's
that's
what I meant, even though it's exactly what I meant before, but
yes,
that's not what I meant. So another thing, if you want to build a successful product in a project setting, make sure you keep your minutes of meetings.
yeah, yeah. We did, we did. Okay, going back, Arnold. You mentioned that one of the most important thing is never give up, right?
Yeah.
But there are some common pitfalls on what mistakes do founders did when they built a startup. And Toko Bagus was your first, right? It's not
Yeah.
like your third or fourth.
That was my first.
Can you mention some of the common pitfalls that should be really avoided?
Okay. First thing, and I didn't make that mistake, but I know a lot of people make that mistake.
Okay.
Don't build a product as you as the end user.
Okay.
Yeah, I see a lot of very smart tech people building amazing products in their eyes, but nobody's looking for that because nobody is as technical as they are. So they don't understand the magic behind the screen or behind this. They don't know. Nobody cares. So that's a pitfall a lot of people make, and I see a lot of startups failing because of that. They build something which they like to build. It's a business. It's not a hobby. Second thing I always tell myself before I start something new, I'm stupid. I need to listen, and anything I did before doesn't count.
Okay.
So summary needs to humble, because again, you always need to learn what really is the problem you're trying to solve and who you're solving it for, to make sure you don't make a mistake in that sense. Yeah. For example, we build a venture or product for farmers, and the UI was amazing. It looked beautiful. I was so proud of what my team had designed. And then I went to Lampung and go and talk to the farmers, and they didn't understand anything what was on the screen. So amazing one for ourselves to put on the wall or something, but not good for the venture because they didn't understand it. And if you make the user feel stupid, they will never use your product. So we had to dumb it down, make it more clear, less features, less bells and whistles, and then it worked out. Yeah. So things to avoid more. Oh man, I'm just now brainstorming myself now. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a common one. Everybody knows that. You should not wait too long to launch something. Test as soon as you have something that is testable. Try to test it out before you make too much effort into that product. So test as much as you can. Talk to as many people as you can. So I'm in love with focus group discussions. I love those. I love to talk to people. I love to understand how they see it, and of course, I need to make sure I keep my mouth shut and listen. But it's such an amazing learning and aha moment, because okay, another one. Yeah, I'll give you another one just as an example.
Yep.
Why you should not see yourself as the end user. So when I was building OVO, yeah, the one everybody is using at the moment. At that time, nobody was using digital payments yet. So we had to really introduce that. So we thought OVO started out, we want to start OVO as a digital bank.
Okay.
Yeah. At that time, it was still called One, not OVO, One. But we never built that, because as soon as we talked to a lot of people, our product offering, which we thought was very important, that you could use your funds digitally anywhere, but still get a 7% interest, like a deposito, but everybody could use it. We thought it was an amazing deal. But then when we started to interview people everywhere in Indonesia, the people said, but I have no money left. So 7% of nothing is still nothing, which is true. Yeah. So, and then we went to the discounts, and then we also understood that most people will not have that big of a balance anyway. So then we could use the e-money product, which was easier to build, less regulatory constraints. So that's how OVO became an e-money wallet in that sense, and how we can use it now for day-to-day payments, which 20 million is enough. And then giving discounts is more interesting than interest. So that's a nice example of saying, okay, yeah, don't build something for yourself, because I would prefer 7%. Still do. How about yourself, Brian? What would you choose? Discounts or interest?
I just discount because I don't put my money into interest. I put it in crypto.
Yeah.
I put it in Bitcoin.
You put everything in a casino. That's another one. I'm not a big fan of crypto yet. I'm very old-fashioned in how I value money. If there's no underlying asset, I'm getting worried.
Yeah, as it is, right? You should not buy and invest in something you don't understand, right?
I'm not saying I'm not understanding it. I know exactly how to make one, and I know exactly what it does. But that's why I'm a little bit confused why people now value it. How much is it now at the moment, Bitcoin?
51,000 US dollar.
There you go. It's like art.
Sorry?
It's like art.
I didn't hear you.
It's like art, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's like that. It's similar.
It has no value as long as people perceive there's value.
Yes, it's similar. It's similar to paper money.
Everybody is in Bitcoin. All right, okay, never mind. That's how I look at it. And maybe again, and I'm okay to be stupid once in a while. I,
Arnold,
yeah.
you mentioned that you should not build things for yourself, right? But a lot of ideas usually come when you have the problem yourself, right?
Yeah, correct. So a good example, because that's usually how I make use cases, isn't it? A product is not important and not successful if you don't have enough use cases.
Yeah.
So again, going back to OVO again, sorry. Use case number one was I had a lot of meetings in Lippo buildings, and I'm a forgetful person. So in Lippo, you need to pay before you go to the boom gate.
Okay.
So in the mall.
Hmm.
I was forgot. So my first use case, what I did is, okay, let's make sure I can pay my parking using OVO. And that was of course not going easy, etc. Because then you have reception and you have all the kind of other stuff you need to think about. You don't think about it when you build something. You expect that to work. Internet should be there. Indosat, Excel, Telkomsel should do their job, but they didn't. So then you get those problems, which you need to solve, which is all good. But that's use cases are most important for me. Use cases, and that's so yes. Usually when you feel like okay, this is a pain for me, I guess more people have that same pain. Okay, then we can use that. But building a product really only what you like, that's so I rather put it in the use cases category. If you build a product, because that's also me. So again, even though I'm already Indonesian, I'm still a bule.
Oh, really? You are Indonesian now?
Indonesian, yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome, bro.
So I need to accept it that I'm still not Indonesian in that sense. Now I was hoping as soon as I became Indonesian that nobody will call me bule, but as you see on this screen, I'm still quite white. So it didn't change that much. Um, so, but yeah, so for me, maybe it's more difficult to build something which I like.
Yeah.
Then maybe for you, you can, and then a lot of other people will like it as well. But I just feel like, okay, I think it's a good thing to just decide that it doesn't need to be for you. Yeah, I think it's a good mindset to build something for people in a serving mindset, not for your own ego.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's important.
so that's so yeah. And do I still make things I do like? Yes, those are pet projects which I do, and hopefully I learn something which I can use in real projects later on.
Okay. So you still do those kind of pet projects that you like doing?
Yes, even though I am very busy these days, I still like to code. I still like
Really?
to do all the stuff myself, like small design stuff, coding, and that kind of stuff. Keeps me up to date in that sense.
Yeah, that's nice. That's just going into the details. Sometimes it's nice for builders. For builders.
Yeah, it's not nice for the people who I work with because I know what I'm talking about. So there's no chance to get yourself out of a bullshit story. Yeah.
Okay, Arnold, you mentioned that you should really understand what problem you are solving and who you solve it for, right?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned that it should not be only for yourself because then the target market is too small. But you know, right, that when it's starting out, you should really like specific in targeting something. You should not like, targeting big things too much. So how do you combine that?
That's me not. I don't do that. So
Oh,
I only
really?
do something if the market is big enough.
I see. Okay.
So the addressable market needs to be sizable. There need to be enough people, and so the personas need to be adding up economically at the end. So at the end, before we start to really go into building something, it needs to make sense financially. That there's a way to break even or there's a way to make money out of it.
Hmm.
And then, but yeah, I have how do you call so for another venture working on at the moment is Labamon, for example. I meet a lot of small merchants.
Hmm.
I have a lot of respect for them because it's very difficult to build something small.
Hmm.
I prefer to build bigger things because then you have more room to play.
Yeah.
if you keep it very small, you're very. So okay, when I first started Sprout, for example, this company which helps a product build, um, I wanted to make it very small. I wanted to keep it like a boutique, just me and some friends doing it, and not really looking for a lot of people and
Mhm.
a lot of clients. But then I found out, then I'm just too exposed.
What do you mean by exposed?
Now you say you have projects.
Ah,
If you have only one project you're working on for, let's say, 6 months, and that project doesn't get paid,
okay. That's doom.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you do things bigger, then if somebody doesn't pay or is late with payment, you can cover because you have the average, you have the that kind of stuff. So that's why I like to play things bigger. It just makes it easier for me at least, because I like chaos. So for me, it's fine. A lot of other people go crazy when it's bigger, but I'm okay. I'm okay with, yeah, with bigger teams and less management layers, etc. I'm okay with that. It's fine. Chaos is fun.
Okay, okay, interesting. But then a follow-up question then, Arnold. If you
Yeah.
are targeting or creating products for use case that is having a large addressable market, right? You will you will be definitely attacking on something that an incumbent is already doing,
Oh
or at
yeah.
least the jobs to be done is already there, right? You
Yeah.
must fight someone, right? How
So
do you do that?
I'm going to launch a new product. It should be next week. And yes, that has something to do with my previous first venture
Okay.
because I wasn't able to finish the job, in my opinion. There. Are there big players there now? Definitely. Do I care? No. Because it's all about execution in the end.
Mm,
Even if you're any mini miny little dot, that becomes a stain for those companies quite fast. Because if you're able to execute better at lower margins and more efficient, and they cannot compete because they're too fat, and the bigger ones are like corporates at the moment, isn't it? They
yeah.
cannot move as fast as they would like. So it's okay. I don't like to talk about war, but I do think in business, I'm always thinking in war terminology in that sense.
Mm,
So it's almost like now what you see in wars that people are using drones.
mm,
They're super annoying and can be very effective. An early startup is like a drone. It's not like a big fighter or a bomber or whatever it is, not a tank. No, it's just a little drone, but it can move around and it makes you annoyed quite fast. So no, no, that's fun. Again, that's what I'm saying. So it needs to be fun to do it, and if the chances are too big, then there's no fun building it. Yeah. So, but again, don't you agree? Especially because you're digital as well, isn't it? If you look into the history, because of the wrong setup, most digital companies don't have a long lifeline.
mhm, mhm.
They will die quite fast. 5, 10, 20 years, that's it. And just look at the map, you see how many
Yep.
companies already they're already getting there. Yeah, so that means by design, the market needs to reset itself. So you need to be ready with new players coming in. That's what I'm doing at the moment, trying to get those new players out there.
I see. Okay, okay,
So sorry,
okay.
yeah.
Moving.
So that maybe there's something we need to talk about later time. But small again, if there's not enough to win, why do it?
Okay.
Because you know as well, just like me, our work costs a lot of time. I
Yep.
tell to my engineers and to my product people and to my designers all the time, if you're looking for easy money, go now because this is not easy money.
Yep. Yep.
Because our minds are always connected to what we built. We cannot let it go. even if you're in a mall trying to play with your kids and buying stuff for the wife,
Yeah,
you
I know
still
the
have
feeling.
to solve that problem. So it's a big cost.
Yeah.
So better make sure it has a big chance at the end, or a big reward at the end.
So worth it to do and sacrifice all that. Yeah.
I think you have no choice.
You always have a choice, man.
No, but again, it's again, we're getting old now. Yeah, I'm getting gray hairs. But I've been like this since I was, I guess, 7 years old, isn't it? I was starting to code when I was 7.
7?
Yeah, so I've been
How
doing.
old are you now, Arnold?
Oh, now we're making it personal. You go first.
I'm 37 now.
Oh, there you go. I'm 43.
Okay, not that far apart.
No.
7 years old. Okay.
Yeah, I was one of those geeks in school that there was one computer at the school, and I was the one occupied the whole day. Yeah, one of those.
And nobody got mad at you?
Nobody cared. They were playing outside.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Arnold, can you share me like a real case story when you have a challenge or setback in your product development? In OVO or in Toko Bagus, whichever.
What kind of setback? Can I get a category of setbacks?
Anything like you're running out of money, you already
That
told.
one, yeah, I already told you that one. You solved it by
Yeah.
giving free internet to people, and people make sure that you still look healthy, and then you get invested. That is one. Um, Setbacks. Let's keep it product related, yeah, because
Yeah.
that's I think what you try to do. Because technology is always fun. I have a lot of examples on that one. But for product, I think sometimes a setback, and it's as a product person, isn't it? That people cannot buy into your vision.
Ah,
That can be quite annoying and literally makes you angry sometimes, at least me. Because I know that you need to do something and then people don't listen to you. Yeah, it becomes quite frustrating, especially when you then see that you're right after a few months.
hmm.
Um, so I think that's my biggest setback. So okay, let's go bring it back to Tokopedia. My biggest setback is that I couldn't build it out like a Tokopedia before.
Ah,
Because it was called Tokobagus for a reason. I wanted to have full e-commerce. The only reason why I went to the classified is because the market was not ready yet. So I
hmm.
pivoted to a classified model because then there's no payment involved. People feel more comfortable, blah, blah. Next evolution should have been the
Yeah,
whole e-commerce thing. But my investor didn't allow me to do that because they were big in classifieds.
yeah.
They said they were wrong years after. We still talk. But I was quite pissed because, for example, I know William for quite some time. He was visiting our event before Tokopedia started, isn't it? And then he did what I wanted to do. I'm jealous. I love him. So yeah, that's one of those things. That's one of those big, yeah, big things in my book at least. That's. So if people don't buy into your vision, it can be quite painful.
So how would you, if you can repeat that, how would you advise people to like react to that kind of situation? Because it's your investor, it's hard, right? If your investor
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
believe.
So again, I'm not angry. I'm still not angry about it. To be honest, I say, of course you don't like it, but it's not that I
Yeah,
started screaming at my investor. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, don't bite the hand that feeds you. So you need to still be polite. They still helped you out. Come on, let's be humble. When they came in, I had only one employee at the time. I had 150, so 120. So let's be nice. Yeah, there's plus and minus. Um, but I think it's more important just to move on.
mm,
Yeah, don't keep on looking at what went wrong in that sense. I don't have that if something goes wrong, I forget about it and just continue. I'm one of those people who just continues trying. So no, yeah, I have nothing really as a product thing what didn't work out. Usually it's always too early, and that's annoying sometimes. If you're too early, it's just, yeah, then you need to wait it out, and not a lot of people are willing to wait it out.
But waiting it out also have costs, right? It's not like you just wait and do nothing, right? It's costly to wait.
Yeah, but I always compare building products like surfing.
Hmm.
You have to wait for the wave to start
Ah,
spending. So you can very lean set up something
I
up,
see.
and then you just pedal a little bit to keep yourself busy and don't get burned. And then as soon as the wave is there, you can stand up and ride the wave and spend money on it, and then go onto the shore and yeah, and be happy. So it's all about timing. And what I see a lot of companies did, or yeah, digital products did, is that they spend too much money too soon because they want to fake
Hmm.
it. So yeah, that's not helpful.
Then that's the next question, right? Because usually people got their first investment and they got this like growth target, right? And then they need to achieve that target, and then they start spending, even if the market
No,
not ready,
so
product not ready, and so on.
yeah, what they should be doing is negotiate those targets and make the investor understand that those targets are unachievable and what the cost is of those targets. But
Hmm.
usually, most of these founders are still quite young.
Yeah.
Like me, I was also young before. Yes, it was possible. And then you want to please your investor. You don't want to make sure they go away. And there's a very simple human behavior, isn't it? If people give you money, you want to take it. But
Yeah.
you should say no if it doesn't make any sense. And that's the thing. Yeah, KPIs. Everybody's looking at their funding. Oh, I need to say yes because else I don't get my funding.
Yeah.
But you should not say yes if you cannot. If you don't overpromise something, because if you if so if I have a venture like that, or a product like that where there the KPI doesn't make that much sense, then I just say bluntly, are you
Hmm.
okay to lose this amount of money to get to this target? Or do you want to use the funds in this way, and then at least there's value created? Sometimes they say yes, let's start creating value. Other times they say, I know, but I need these numbers now, so I'm okay to spend it, which is also understandable. It's fine, as long as people know what to get themselves into. But I think that's a beautiful thing. So I'm super happy that there's a big reset in the digital market at the moment, that people finally start to really build businesses.
Yeah.
So because startups were for a long time like only digital, and I'm building a digital product, that's cool, or a digital business, that's cool. It's still a business. So if the business doesn't make sense, you still go bankrupt. There's nothing, it's just a new way of doing stuff, isn't it? It's not like, yeah, yeah,
You
it's
are
like
just
history.
serving the same needs differently, right?
No, but yeah, a company is a company. It doesn't
Yeah.
change if it's digital or not. Doesn't really make any difference. So I'm happy that now people start to understand that. So now we don't waste too much money. And you can ask me, it's not something I just learned. That's how I've been for a long time. If people are, I don't know, if people listen to this now or later, and they know me, they know it's true. Wherever I came to help build ventures or companies or products, digital things, I made it as crappy as possible,
Hmm.
the environment, because it's a journey. You need to
Yeah.
start from zero and you need to go somewhere. If you start out in a fancy office with everything, like everything is done, I have my coffee, I have my free drinks, I have my free meals, and everything is amazing. I have a super high salary. Why are you fighting? There's nothing
Yeah.
to fight for. You already have everything you have. So if you have that's yeah, then it will never be successful. So make it crappy and it will become a success.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
OVO, yeah, OVO was in a fancy office building, but we had no floors. We were using second-hand chairs and second-hand desks by design. Not because we couldn't afford them, but by design, because mindset needs to be there to be able to grow.
I just knew that. That's interesting because you have the fun to buy new stuff, right?
Yeah. But again, it's like, okay, now maybe I should talk to your wife. Um, Having the money, you don't have to spend it, isn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Because having a lot of money is nice. It gives you a peace of mind. It gives you time. But as soon as you start spending it like crazy, your time is just gone.
Yeah.
And then you don't have time to make mistakes.
Yep.
Because we
Yep.
all know building a product is making a lot of mistakes, learning from them and make it better. Now, if you spend too much, you cannot make that many mistakes, and you can make it. You will end up with a not very successful product.
Oh, and this is a very interesting one. But you mentioned that we make a lot of mistakes and we should stay lean, right? But back then, in like 2016, 2022 periods, it's like
Yeah.
super high growth environment, and people kind of feel like if I don't join, then I'll be left behind, and that's to some extent is true, right? You're
What do
not
you mean?
spending like crazy. If you're not
Oh,
acquiring the
okay.
market,
Sorry, I can explain to you with one example, which I
yeah,
think is still one of the best digital companies out there, is Blibli.
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
Blibli
interesting.
never burned.
Really? They never burn?
They said with pride, we're more expensive than the competitor, but we give you
Yeah.
service.
I thought it's because they are selling things differently. I know they go like directly to store and store by store, and they have presence over those stores,
Yeah,
like
but
in
still,
offline.
they burn, isn't it? And they're still there. Nobody's talking about Elevania anymore. Nobody's talking about Matterheimer anymore. That's yeah, I was also involved in that one. Um, but it's that's I like that because I didn't care, and that's the thing. What I'm saying. That's why I'm saying building products like going to war. It's not about winning a battle. It's about winning a war. So even though maybe the other guy's spending a lot and they're winning every single battle, and everybody thinks yes they're winning, but the war's not over yet. At one point the ammunition is gone, and then you can just walk in. So yeah, I think that's what's happening now. Blibli is just doing fine. At least when I go to Bandung, I still see their sign up in the mountain, so I think they're still fine.
Okay. I think part of it, I think they are also like very careful in selecting their targets, how they market themselves. They're very selective. They're not going head to head, so to say, in what I observe
Yeah,
with the
you
big
don't go in
player.
a battle you don't have to win.
Yeah, yeah. You don't have to join them.
Yeah, get it out. Let them be. Let them do it. And that's the same thing, isn't it? So, and again, there was that funny thing with all the Shopee Pay, GoPay, and OVO in
Mm.
that sense. We we tried to get the whole market, and then the government comes with curious. You don't know how much money these companies have spent on merchant acquisition, and then the government just makes it okay, all flat, all the same.
Yeah, with Chris, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, case. Yeah, that's still something. Again, that's a funny thing, isn't it? I still think it's curious because it's a QR code, so I call it curious. But it should be case. I know the government says it needs to be case, but I'm still saying it.
Yeah, still a lot of people say curious.
Yeah, it's a QR code. Doesn't make any sense to call it case. Then you should fill it with a K.
Okay, but yeah, Chris changes things, right? So it's not really interesting again to start up a digital wallet. So did you are you still there when that happens? And how did you like how did OVO react over that? So it gotta change the business model, right?
Yeah,
That's
but
something that comes out of a left
Ovo
field.
was so fast that it was already again it was not that important at that time. We
Mm.
went very fast, not a big investment going in, so it was just time and effort, a lot of time and effort, and a lot of sweat and of all the people involved, and they did an amazing thing. Um, yeah, I have a tendency to be honest. That's my tendency. As soon as it's successful, I usually leave because then it becomes boring, isn't it? We talked about it earlier. 0 to 1 is fun. 1 to 2 is already getting less fun because then you need to start firing people. You need to start cutting costs. It goes more into maintenance mode. It's small changes, not big changes anymore. That's usually when I leave.
I see. So like growth to IPO, you usually leave.
No, IPO's too long. IPO takes so long. Yeah, only because they were able to get listed, Tokopedia, and GoTo and Bukalapak, because they needed the money. I don't know how they did it, because normally you should only go in there when you're a bit positive.
Yeah.
So IPO is always long term. It cannot be early because it cannot be risky, isn't it, for people to put their money
Yeah.
in. So um, yeah, no, IPO is way too long. No, really, it's like, okay, it's clear, we're number one. Well, in over we're number one at that point. I said, okay, then bye. Can only go downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes downhill when you left.
No, I just don't. I don't want to make myself too important. But again, it's what I'm saying. It's now still being used. Again, I'm still happy. I'm still. If you know how many times, don't let the police hear this, but how many times I go to Jakarta in my car and forgot my wallet, so I don't have my SIM with me as well, because I don't need my wallet anymore. You can use your phone now all the time. So that's for me. I was thinking about it earlier today, and I think that's one of the coolest things. I was part of that
Mm.
migration of how we use money. I think that's pretty cool. But again, so it needs to be fun. So I only do things because I like to do it. It needs to be fun.
Okay. Now speaking about fun, Arnold. Last time I spoke with Taufan, with Rian, that is building Seribu, right? And he also told me that when building startups or your ventures, you usually come to a place where you're in what he mentioned, zombie mode. Like you feel like you keep repeating things like 1 year, 2 years. It's like you move forward one step and then you move backward 2 steps. You have some problems and then you move forward. It's kind of like, will this ever ends? How did you keep that fun? And then how did you keep building at that point of time?
I never think like that.
Really?
So okay, let me give you another fun story. When Mata Harimo, for example, want to go live, and when I came in, I didn't go there because I was invited to help, but I was talking about building the digital bank, and then I saw some statistics like they're now in the back here as well. By the way, I look at charts all the time, and I said, "Guy, I don't know what you guys are doing because this will never fly. This is you do big TV campaigns you're going to start, but you will go offline within the first 5 minutes. Yeah, this is not scalable at all." So then I work with the team to rebuild the whole thing in a few days.
Hmm.
It's literally no sleeping and no nothing, just working, working, working. You can see it as a negative, but you can also see it as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see setbacks. And that's also the beautiful thing about the mind, yeah, the human mind. We always forget the negative things. We only remember the good things. So I'm sure there were some sad moments, but I don't remember them. Yeah. I don't have to think. Now you make me depressed. Let me think. No, but I think that's maybe, and I'm not going to blame anybody. But when you build a product and it doesn't work, there's a reason it doesn't work.
Hmm.
So, do they look at the data? For me, data is key because, especially in Indonesia, isn't it? I love FGDs. I love to talk to people, but data is still more powerful
Yeah.
because people in Indonesia have a tendency to be nicer in your
Yes.
face and not really act the same way. That's why I was also one of those creeps, when I had to go to Jakarta every single day. I went to start to use the commuter line.
Hmm.
It's not that much faster, but I was able to look at a lot of people how they were using their mobile phones.
Oh, okay.
And I'm nice and tall, so even if it was crowded, they were doing. Uh, so I think that's the thing is that you need to understand why people are doing stuff, and if it doesn't work out, okay, you need to sometimes be stubborn and keep on doing what you're doing because you know you're right. Data says so.
Hmm.
But if the data tells you or people really clearly tell you that you're wrong, you better pivot. And throwing away all your hard work is not an issue. You can just throw it away. It's just work. Doesn't make any difference in the end. So if that's a step back, I don't. That's the thing. If you're agile, there's no step back. It's a circle. Yeah, it makes it maybe more stupid, like chasing your own tail. But it's in a circle, isn't it? You keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. So even when you have something negative, as long as you learn something, you move forward. And sometimes if you know that you're not going fast enough or you're not right, then don't be afraid to move very slow.
Oh, okay, that's interesting advice. Don't be afraid to move very slow.
Yeah. Because what is more stupid that somebody is running very fast in the wrong
Ah,
direction or
yeah.
somebody is walking very slow in the wrong direction? Nobody even notices. Yeah. So that's how it is with building products as well. If you spend a lot of developer time on stuff which are nobody's asking for them, you're building them anyway, and then you have to throw them away at the end. It's a lot of effort. And that's how you lose engineers.
Yep.
All engineers go away if whatever they built and put so much time in and it's not being used, then they get sad,
Yes.
disappointed, and then they leave. So it's okay to be slower sometimes. Slow but sure, I always say. I'm getting old. Slow but sure.
Yeah. It's a business. Back again, it's a business.
It's not so again. Maybe in a I don't know if people are listening here just because they want to make a lot of money. It's not a quick investment. Your bitcoins are more volatile. Yeah, so you can make more money if you put all your time in that. You know, and you can trade the down. You can trade the up. So it's a lot more money to get there. Yeah. So and let's not think we're going to be the next, Elon Musk or Bezos or whatever. It will. We're still in Indonesia. It will be number four in a few years. Maybe then the numbers become higher, but it's still, yeah. Let's not do it for the money.
There's a question from someone in my WhatsApp group, Arnold. Uh,
Oh, I'm not in it.
so it was asked yesterday. So I was like asking them if there's any question they want to ask. By the way, if you guys listening to this in YouTube and you want to ask, go ahead. The chat is open. If you're on LinkedIn, usually LinkedIn is not connected, so go to YouTube. But anyway, the question is this, Arnold. So, um, do, can you give advice for founders that is having problem in getting tractions for their products? What should they do?
It's the most difficult part. Yeah, I told you my story. It took me like 3 years to get the traction I was looking for. Um, so first thing, never give up, but be creative.
Hmm.
Be creative and again try a lot of different stuff. So for example, for some products it's best for example to do market. Don't forget marketing, and marketing is super important. Yeah, it is offline, online, all these things are super important. Yeah, go back to my revenge story. Yeah, that guy put all his money in a fancy office and fancy car for himself but forgot about the marketing. Marketing is key. I've been, responsible for a lot of products in product and tech, and I always said, okay, let me save money so you can spend more money in marketing. It's much more important. Yeah, it's not important to have an amazing product in that sense. If your marketing is super successful, then please go ahead, put all the money in there. It's fine. No hard feelings. But try out all the different types of marketing. There's a lot of types of marketing you can do. So try out everything before and keep on challenging it. So, but some people do say, oh, I have now an amazing Google campaign. But the problem now these days is Google campaigns or Facebook campaigns, Instagram, TikTok, all these platforms, uh, they're getting spoiled. So we need to refresh content a lot. So so you need to keep on challenging and keep on trying, but also it's again. So everything is about data. So make sure you can really measure everything.
Hmm.
Then you definitely see where you went wrong. And it takes a little bit more time to put it all into your systems. I know. And also don't make it too complex. Make sure
Yeah.
you arrange your data in a way that it's easy to consume and it's very flexible to use. But then you can find the problems usually. But it's yeah, marketing, try as much as you can. For example, we just did a pameran di Jogja.
Oh.
um, we never did it before. Why not try it? And then we're just waiting for the data to show something happening in that area. You know, is there any reaction to what we're doing over there? And hopefully, I was wrong because I was not supportive of it. And then, but it's okay. Yeah, I want to be wrong. Again, that's list so to your friend who is a founder and it doesn't go well. Ask people for their real opinion.
Hmm.
Real friends give their real. So what, Brian? You know that company. Now I'm going to make it difficult for you. So you know this friend of you. What kind of company he's building, what kind of product he's building. What do you think? What does he need to change? Did you ever tell him as a good friend?
No, I've never tell him because I have massive respect for him. I
But,
mean,
but
he
if you
started
have,
building the same time with me,
no, but
but
if
he's
you have
still doing.
respect, so again and again, maybe your friend. So then I'm talking now to your friend again. You better have a thick skin. It's okay. People say you're
Yeah,
stupid. It's okay. Don't become defensive. Listen, and maybe they're right. It's again going back to being a soldier or a general. Isn't it? A general is sitting nicely in an office looking at the maps, and the soldier is in the field and trying to survive. He doesn't know what he's looking at the moment anymore. So if you're outside and you can see what you see, and he's not seeing it because he's in the field, he's trying to survive. He's definitely missing something.
yeah.
So tell him. Not how don't have to do it here, but tell him. And if you listen to you, it's not important. But if everybody does that, at one point you hear what you need to change. Because again, going back to the point again, you don't build it for yourself.
Okay, okay. Now, one last question, Arnold. If there's one thing that you can tell yourself in the past that you know now that would most likely make you better, your product better, your company better, what is it and why?
So there's nothing to the product, in my opinion, but it really helps. Always stay humble.
Okay, that's a beautiful advice.
Because when we're young, so for me, yeah, when I was young, because I was such an introvert, people thought I was cocky, just yeah, trombone. It was not it. I was just an introvert. I was, yeah, Mister. I don't dare to talk. Um, but then after a while, you get success and you get all these things. You start to believe too much in yourself, and then you don't become a better person out of that, in my opinion. Um, so now I would say don't do that. Even though I'm still okay with all the results, and again, I have no, it's okay. But I would just say, okay, if I would have been like that, I would at least people would perceive me nicer in the past.
Why is that important for you?
Because we again, my beliefs are that I'm not doing this for myself.
Okay.
Yeah, so we need to stay. Who are we? The world is not built for Arno, and also sorry, Brian, not for you as well.
Yeah.
So we need to be again looking outside and making sure everybody gets a little better life because we're here is more important.
Yeah, founders are always like that. Every founders are always like that. They're trying to make the world a better place, and that's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
We're trying to solve pain points, and they're called pain points for a reason. They're painful. Yeah, sorry, I have nothing else. No other thing which I could do different in my, yeah. Again, I like to make mistakes, so don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's for sure. Yeah.
Okay, Arnold, are there any advice that you want to share with fellow product managers or founders out there that is still struggling building their products, enjoying their ride?
Learn to tell stories
Okay.
because understand whatever you have envisioned for your product. people will not understand by design. So if you're not smart in the way how you communicate what you're trying to do and why you're doing that, you will not get the buy-in necessary to make those big changes. So learn to tell the story. People love stories. People don't like tickets and story points, that kind of stuff. They don't care. Yeah, we all been in those meeting with stakeholders. They just want it tomorrow anyway. But if you can explain the story why something is more important than something else, then you can make sure you can do what you need to do. And but that's also the same thing, isn't it? Even if the product person now is a founder in the company, it's also still important. You need to make sure that people understand. That's why sometimes in the early stage of any product you build, you have a very much difficulty to do the elevator pitch. How often I still get caught into that one. What are you doing with this? We're doing blah 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 blah, and you keep on talking, and that's not catchy at all. That's not, people don't get it what you're doing. You're not getting what you're doing. So understand that part. It's very important to understand what you're doing and try to formulate it in such a way that other people can buy into your idea. It can be your stakeholders, can be your users. They need to understand why they need to use your product or invest in your product or change your product or whatever. You just need to make sure that you can communicate.
Okay, that's that's wonderful, Arnold. If you don't mind, this is for me personally. I want to ask something.
Okay.
I'm a type of person that is hard to vision something so far in the future. So up until now, I usually partner with someone that is having a vision, and my job is to support him to like translate the vision to the execution level. Can you give me an advice to grow myself?
No, the thing is, I don't. Yeah, again, what you're doing is what I was also doing. Yeah. So when I was in Togo Bagus, I was the one starting it, and I invited Remco to help me out. I was a young guy, very good at product and very good in technology, but I'm not good at sales at that time.
Mm.
So I needed somebody to do that for me and help me out. Now I understand that I can do all. Yeah. You have to push yourself, isn't it? So what I'm saying, and hopefully all your partners will not kill me now because of it, but you should try to do both sides. Because I know you have a vision. Everybody has a vision. Probably you're not very comfortable at presenting your vision and dealing with the feedback. I'm not sure. I don't know you very well, so I don't know if you're an introvert or an extrovert. But probably you're also like me, like to hide behind the screen, and that's your safe space. I train when I go to big events and doing these things. It gets me, make me so tired. But I know I need to do it because, yeah, that's where you also learn. And that I think the same thing for you. You just have to do it. There's nothing. You cannot tell me that you don't have a vision.
Yeah, yeah,
You have a vision.
yes, yes.
The problem is, do I need to say this? It's always,
Say it.
it's recorded. It's always annoying if it's recorded. The one who's usually having the vision, or at least have the balls to talk about the vision, do not add that much to the product or to the venture in the end. That's why I always say, ideas are important, but they're very cheap at the end. If you don't know how to execute, then it's nothing. And also, I like it when people are saying it, and also when people are telling, yeah, I have a great idea. Can you sign the NDA first?
People still do that?
Yeah, they still do it. And it doesn't have any. Again, I can tell you all my ideas because I'm sure I can execute better than you. So who cares? That's
Yeah,
what you need to
yeah.
think about. It's not about the idea you have, and nobody is doing. Yeah, maybe we should, by the way, we should register more patents and that kind of stuff. Because else Apple will do it for us, or those patent trolls. But again, um, you need to just try it, have your own vision, be bold, and again. So I cannot just do this, and you have the vision in your mind thinking thoughts. You need to do it, isn't it? And we all have the
Yeah.
same. We all have our same little monsters which we don't dare to touch or whatever it is, isn't it? I also don't. I hate to do sales pitches. I don't know why, because the ones I do are usually okay. uh, or pitches in general. But there's another thing, by the way, another one which maybe just to help everybody who is a product founder here on the call and wants to get an investment. Don't expect your investor or VC to be interested in your product.
Mm.
I know a lot of founders, product founders, who are always very disappointed. He didn't even ask about my product. No, they don't care. They care about your promise. With your product, which you built, you can make X amount of money. That's what they care. They don't care about what the product does. They don't even have to use it. They don't need to understand it. That's even more and more important. They don't want to see it. They know it will change anyway, so who cares? They're just investing in those people. They're investing in the founders who can do this. And maybe showing a few slides with your product is great. At least it shows that's not only talk and no walk. But it's don't be disappointed with that. So don't be disappointed with that. Yeah, they have the best intentions for you, but they just don't have the same interest as you. Yeah, that's it, I guess.
Okay. Thank you, Arnold. Thank you. So again, I want to say thank you again. And this is a very wonderful session for me personally. I learned a lot.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
It's a very fun chat with you.
Thank you, Brian. Same for me. I enjoyed it very much. So let's do it again soon in person with a nice cup of coffee.
Oh, will do. I'll contact you. I'll definitely contact you.
Okay.
I I I I'd love to meet you in person. Thank you again, Arnold. And guys, thank you for attending. If you don't catch the live session, you can always watch the recording. And also, if you don't wanna miss things like this, you can join my WhatsApp channel over there. You can just scan the QR.
Now I can be in your WhatsApp channel. Let me do that,
Scan
by
it.
the way.
Oh
That's
man, Arnold is joining my WhatsApp channel.
that's where there's a live thing over it, so I cannot do the whole.
Oh yeah,
Just invite
because
me.
you're on. Yeah,
Just
it
invite me
should not
later.
be there on the recording. Because you're viewing it as the person that speaks. Okay, Arnold. Speak to you soon. Thank you again. Have a good day, Arnold. Bye bye.
Bye bye.